Hi folks, I just wanted to make a quick video about how to stretch and what you should be doing in your stretching breaks during the day from work. So if I form a stereotypical sitting position at work, you'll see that my head's forward, chin's pushed out, shoulders hunched, and shoulders a little bit high, everything's just a bit collapsy through the back, and you can see of course that my hips and knees are bent because we expect that. So the bits that are going to get tight in particular are going to be my neck, shoulders, back, but also my hips and hamstrings, and very often, because they're just kept in the same position all day, also feet and ankles. So those are the areas that I really want to stretch. So I'm going to start at the bottom and talk you through it. So first things first, I'm going to go with a calf stretch. And I don't need any equipment for any of these stretches. I'm just going to use the bench in this case that I'm sitting on, or you could use your chair or your desk normally. So to stretch the calf muscles, I'm going to lean on table, chair, desk, doesn't really matter, wall. But first things first, the calf I'm stretching is the right calf here, the one that's closer to you, the back one. I'm starting off by stretching with the back knee straight, and that means I'm stretching the big soleus muscle at the back. And then I'm going to keep my heel down and bring my weight a bit further back, and now I'm stretching out the soleus muscle, which is the deeper muscle, which is the one that we use more for posture and for running. Then I can shuffle between the two, so I can go into gastrocnemius stretch, the power stretch, and then the posture stretch, the more of the walking muscle. So I'm going to stretch both of those off for 30 seconds or so, and then I'm going to do the same to the other side. Then I want to think about stretching the hamstring muscle at the back of the thigh, and for that nice easy stretch, I'm going to put my foot on the chair, and I'm going to hug onto my thigh, lock on there so that my chest is attached to my thigh. That keeps my hip flexed at a consistent angle, and then I'm going to take my weight backwards. So you can see I'm just shifting onto my standing heel, and that stretches out this knee and gives me a good strong stretch down the hamstring. Now again, I'm going to hold that for approximately 30 seconds, but I might sort of shift in and out of it a little bit. That's completely fine. We don't particularly want you sort of bouncing and jamming into the end, but gently gliding in and out of the stretch is perfectly fine, because we want your body to be able to go into the stretch as well as to get there and hold it. So we're looking at flexibility as well as end of range movement. So that's the hamstring stretch that I would do. Then I'm going to look at the back. So we talked about the back tending to go into this sort of position with everything pulled tight at the front. So why don't we go for a stretch that opens out the front of the chest. One stretch that I do quite a lot at home is lying on a long foam roller, but in the absence of a long foam roller I can do it in my chair just as well. So if I get my weight evenly over my buttocks, lace my hands behind my back, hold my shoulders back, and slide my hands down the back of my bottom, and I can take my head back and clamp my chin very firmly closed, and that will really stretch the front of the neck. Not when I come in like that, kind of dolly. I'm going to take 3 really big breaths into that, and each out breath I'll be able to go a little bit further. And then I'm going to try and take my hands backwards now. I have really tight shoulders, so I can't go back very far, but that's a good stretch for my upper back and shoulders. And then for my neck, what I can do is if I come forwards a little bit to the end here, what happens a lot with the neck is that we tend to sit with our head on one side a little bit too much. So I'm going to anchor my right arm. I'm stretching the right side of my neck, so I'm going to anchor my right arm either by holding underneath my chair or by just tucking my elbow into my side with my hand across my back. So I'm going to go with this one for the moment, and then I'm going to reach across and hold onto my right ear with my left hand, and then I'm not going to pull, but I'm just going to let the weight of my left arm take my head across the left, and I can really feel that stretch down the side of my neck and into my shoulder. Now, if I didn't lock my elbow and hold my shoulder down, what would quite easily happen is just that I would come in here and that would all just rise together. So that wouldn't be so much of a stretch as it would be just a movement. So if I lock my hand in, bring my head across here, and then again 3 big stretches. And you can see I'm going a little bit further with every exhale. Good. So that's how I've stretched out the right side, most of the right side of my body. The last one to do that I really like is a rib cage stretch. And I stand up for this one because I'm going to do a side bend. I'm a big fan of the side bend for rib cage stretching. So mind out your weight up, thank you. So I'm going to have my weight on both feet. And with a side bend, what I often see people doing is just sort of dropping down and leaving their, only stretching from the upper body. But actually the side bend's a really good whole body stretch. So what I'm going to do here is glide my hips across to the right, so all the weight's going to be on the outside of my right foot, this one here, as I slide my hand down to the left, and then for added stretch I can reach up and over with my right hand, so all the weight is on my right foot, the outside of my right foot, left foot's barely doing anything except for keeping me there balanced, and all the stretch is down my right side. And then again I'm going to go 3 big breaths. I'm really trying to get the air to go into that side of the rib cage where it's most stretched out. And then come down and out of that. And so, as you've seen, I've stretched my calves, I've stretched my hamstrings, I've stretched out my chest and the front of my neck, and I've stretched out my rib cage. And that is what I would suggest that you do in your 5-minute breaks in between sitting and working. So there you go, that's my daily stretch routine.